Weird, but okay. No, it's not. It's not that. Yeah. All right. So, now I agree with that. Rumble's front. Again. I don't know why it doesn't. Never works on this one anymore. Huh. Oh well. Who's that? Okay. Um. Wait a minute. Yeah, that's not accurate at all. Wow. That title's not accurate. Um. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. I am echoing. That's weird. Kind of weird. How are we doing today, chat? Really well. Right. Here we go with Star Citizen Live. Watch the complete thing.
There you go. We haven't done this in a while.
Yeah, of course you haven't. It's because you guys have been lazy and gone. Um,
Hi, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. They couldn't get me the pumpkin pie in time, so. And, I mean, I love you guys, but you're pumpkin pie. You guys don't have any pie?
No problem.
they don't have anything.
You
That's
don't really do
funny.
pumpkin pie here, do you?
That's sad
No,
and
we
funny.
Carve pumpkins and
Pumpkins go out once a year.
yeah.
I had a fascinating conversation with the rest of my team about that actually, because back home we used to carve turnips instead,
Oh,
because you couldn't get pumpkins in the supermarket, like big pumpkins, you just
okay.
couldn't get them. So you used to get the biggest Swede that you could, carve that out. And that's what you'd use.
they just charge twice as much for those nowadays.
Nowadays, yeah, they used to be dime a dozen.
Oh. The Studio Experience team,
This is
delightful
making
they are,
them very
went to
uncomfortable.
Costco, as we sell Costco here. And they came back with what they approximated was an American Thanksgiving meal, which was pumpkin pie, red vines, crazy delicious.
Not Twizzlers.
Not Twizzlers.
They're not.
Get the F out of here with Twizzlers. No, red vines and Twizzlers are not the same thing.
Twizzlers are solid.
They are the
Not
same
even
thing.
close.
They're
Oh, are they?
generic bowl.
Twizzlers are outright plastic.
Okay.
Pancakes Hobo says Twizzlers are greater than red vines. Can we ban him from Twitch chat, please?
You're an idiot.
peanut
They
butter
do taste better.
And Welch's fruit snacks.
Red vines
Proper
taste awful.
Thanksgiving meal. Hi, everybody. I realized I took a bite before.
So you're really brave eating.
Chad, do I have a echo
Welcome
or
to Star
no?
Citizen Live. A lot of ship talk. Eventually, I'm your host Jared Huckabee, and if you've never seen Star Citizen Live before, well, it's usually where we take about an hour out of our week and talk about all manner of things related to the ongoing and continuing development of Star Citizen. Today, we're going to go a little bit extra because we haven't done a show in a while. We're going to see if we can't make up for it and answer as many questions from the community, as many questions from my own curiosity as we can. Joining us on the show this week are three members of our esteemed vehicle content team. We'll go ahead and
Please buy more
start here
ships.
immediately to my right. Tell everybody who you are and what you do, John Crew.
Like, really?
I'm John Crew, I'm the vehicle director. So I look after the whole pipeline of all the content, all the teams, all the studios.
So everything related to a vehicle is your fault.
Correct.
That's not remotely true. Most things, though.
Yeah.
Ben,
Be
who
nice
are you
to
and what do you do?
John. Come
I'm
on,
Ben Pearce.
man.
I am the vehicle art director. So I look after the visual side of the vehicles, I guess. Make sure they look as good as they fly.
If you don't like how they look,
Yeah, that's my fault.
it's all his fault.
Everything else, though, is
Yeah. If you didn't care for the fin on the L21,
yeah, that's my fault.
Oh no.
it's fault.
Fine, we'll get it out right at the beginning.
Mark, who are you and what do you do?
My name's Mark Gibson. I'm the lead vehicle content designer, and I make sure what John wants to happen actually happens.
And when do you start doing that job?
Probably in the new year.
Okay. Tazda in chat says, question, should I have bacon and eggs for breakfast or beans and toast? Bacon and eggs.
Bacon and eggs.
Bacon and eggs. Beans and toast.
Or both.
No.
Yeah, both.
No,
The best
no,
question is,
no,
how do you do the
no.
I'm a simple man. I like scrambled.
See, I always want to do them fried, and then when they go wrong, they turn into scrambled.
That's fair.
That's a bad fried egg.
Catastrophically.
Yeah, that is a bad
For
fried egg.
some reason, it's the one thing I can't cook. Eggs always go wrong for me.
So one thing I like about this beginning of this show is that there's a whole bunch of content creators who are like, bring back the shows and whatnot because we need your content to make our content and whatever. And
Yes, please quit being douche canoes.
I'm just like, yeah, that's why we do it. It's just wasting your time. I'm just thinking about how many restreamers and they're like, or waiting to watch and to have comments on things, and we're just wasting time talking about
Eggs.
It's
eggs.
important.
In all fairness, we did say we were going to ask.
It gives us something to do.
That was.
We get bored.
That was a community question.
Y'all are funny.
So, all right.
Or think you are.
So this show's going to be a little different. We're gonna do some general chat. We're gonna talk about some high level things that I think are important first, and then we are going to get to the community questions. Like I said, it's going to be a longer show than normal. I can't tell you precisely how long, but there's a lot I want to talk about. We haven't been on the air for a while, CitizenCon notwithstanding. So I got you guys here. I came in on Thanksgiving. We want to make sure that we get the most out of this time. So let's start with some general conversation, some general stuff about ships in general, the project and whatnot. I want to start off with this year. This year, if my math is correct, and please, you guys correct me if it's not, you have now delivered 27 vehicles this year. So my question is, WTF? Like, how did this happen? And what's this change been like?
It's been pretty full on. So at the start of the year, we talked about doing this year of quality of life and content. So we sort of knew we were going to be working at this pace ahead of time. We knew that there was a lot of content to fill, a lot of ships to fill. I think we've done a pretty good job of that. Big thanks to not just the team that works on the ships, but all the supporting teams, like all the people who do the web pages and the marketing art and the trailers and economy side, QA, everybody, because it's all just a big group effort, especially to do it at that scale. Like, it's the most we've ever done in any year.
Yeah.
Last year was 23 or so. So even more this year is a big improvement. But yeah, it's not gone without its challenges, but I think we've done pretty well on there.
Yeah, I think I'll be honest. I've lost count of how many we've done this year. It's been a lot. I think the kind of like the transition to the like the monthly releases and everything. It's it's been full on, but I think we've kind of weathered it pretty well. I think there's been no secret that we've been kind of expanding the vehicle team a little bit over the last couple of years, and we're kind of starting to, I guess, see some of the benefits of that. I think we've also I guess we're still in progress of kind of like changing some of our processes and how we kind of tackle ships. That has kind of allowed us to speed up. Our concept team's grown. Like, everything has kind of grown a bit to allow us to kind of get a little bit more kind of throughput. I think it has been a challenge, but I think I think the team are in a pretty good place with what they're able to deliver and the speed and what we can deliver. We've ticked off a few big ones, ticked off a load of small ones, and it's kind of finding that balance of getting through some of the big ships, but also still being able to deliver a whole bunch of kind of new exciting ones as well.
Finally getting the Idris out the door.
Yeah. And I mean, some of that stuff. We kind of got to thank some of the other teams on the other project that have helped us with that kind of side of things. But I think it's been a busy year, but it's been a good year. Like, everyone's come to the end of it. It's like, do you know what? I'm very proud of what the team's delivered.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, and it's been reflected in every metric. Our daily average users are way up. Our concurrency is way up. So.
And I think some of that stuff as well, to be fair, is we can't lay claim for that. Like, some of that side of things, if the plan at the beginning of the year for the year of kind of stability and improvements, I think, has meant that there's more people want to play and they want more ships to play with. And so, the kind of work of some of the other teams outside of the ships that have kind of helped with that side of things.
So, I want to follow up with another question. So, 27 ships. about how many were from the backlog? My next question is, there's this question that always happens. We're just going to jump right into it, guys, here. The decision between making a brand new ship that nobody's ever heard of, straight to flyable, and by the way, you missed the fact that not a single concept ship this year.
Yeah.
This is our first year we've done entirely straight to flyable or backlog ships. No more, the era of selling JPEGs or whatnot is the folks on the internet like to say done. But where was I going with this? But the choice between the backlog ships, like how does that work? There's folks out there who are obviously waiting on their Banu Merchantman for however many years. I think it's almost 12 at this point, and it's like this. Versus getting a brand new ship like the L-22 or whatnot. How do you make these decisions?
As we said this a few times, but as you say, always someone's first show. When it comes to the backlog ships, quite a few years ago, we decided that we're not just going to release ships that just don't have their gameplay loop, or like their main
they
gameplay
still
loop.
do it.
And for a lot of those older backlog ships, they rely on features or
They
gameplay
still
loops that
do
just
it.
simply aren't in the game or won't be in the game within the period of time it's going to take to make that vehicle. And I can't remember how many backlog ships we did this year, but I know the backlog has gone down because of it. Like, we've not added to it. It's net decreased. So when you look at the ones that are left, there is a sizable proportion of those that fall into that camp of they require feature gameplay loop. And we don't want to start and go through a whole vehicle to get to the end and not be able to release it. We'd rather use that time and resources to do other things. So the backlog pool of ships to pull from is relatively slim, so that has to be balanced against, we've got 11 patches this year, we want to have a ship in every patch. We've got Fleet Week and IE, which we need to have a lot of ships in, so it's always a back and forth of shiny new content, upgrading older content with gold standards, and then delivering backlog ships.
So that's a good answer, and like I just said we have answered it before, but it's important to continuously reiterate this again. It's this first show, and sometimes people just don't pick it up from the first time. It's while we don't always succeed. Obviously, the Clipper just went out. It's got a fabrication station in there. Crafting is not in just yet. Whatnot. There is a certified and deliberate effort to only make ships that come with their gameplay whenever possible. So and that's a major factor in why we make certain ships versus some other ships. While making 27 ships this year, and while working down not adding to the backlog with no new concept ships, while cutting down the backlog with delivery of those ships, you also, I think everybody's aware at this point that we're on the cusp of releasing finally our first version of engineering.
Yep.
Like, we have been talking about engineering so long. The first time we mentioned it, I was dressed as a vampire. That's how long it was pre-pandemic, and we are on the verge of finally delivering this first version of engineering. We're currently shooting for December, before the end of the year. But obviously, this has been a massive undertaking for your teams because you have to go back.
Can we still find that video?
We're approaching nearly 200 ships now. Not just convert the old ships to work with the new system, adding components and stuff like this, but making sure you build the new ones with this in mind. How's that been?
That's been crazy. It's a huge amount of work, and it isn't just they finish the feature, here's how you do it, off you go. We work with them to do the prototypes for it as well, so we actually test out and implement it on normally a test vehicle that gets chosen. But then to go back, because we've been developing ships for 8, 9, 10 years at this point, it means that how we've set stuff up over the years has changed as well. So how we have to deconstruct and then reconstruct it to work is different depending on when the ship was released. So on top of having to actually get the ships out and release all the new content, any downtime is spent in a combination of either bug fixing, quality of life for existing ships, or doing all of this feature support. Right now, the entirety of the vehicle design team is off doing tweaks and changes to improve how features coming out in December feel and experience, and we're actively making changes to from what we thought it was going to be to what feels better and is a better experience. Literally right now, the team is sat doing it. Probably listen to me talk about them as well.
Yeah, I think that's like, part of the challenge is even like simple things like making sure the ships have got fire extinguishers. Like, we've known that's been coming for a while, and we've been adding them to a lot of our ships. As soon as we kind of knew that was coming on, but we didn't necessarily know exactly how that system was going to work, and we had no real way of kind of like testing it. So really now, a lot of the times, you think, oh yeah, well most ships got fire extinguishers, it's fine, but we still need to go through, test them all, make sure they all work, realise that, oh actually, there's a bit of collision that is a tiny bit too big, that looks fine, but we had no way of testing it. And it's those sort of little things that kind of catch you out. On the art side, we're probably in a better place because our side is less impacted by it. I think it's really kind of the design and the setup side that's kind of weathering the...
For engineering, there's a lot goes into it that players just don't see. So we could spend 2 hours talking about how we do it, but essentially we've been doing this process under the hood over the last 18 months, 2 years.
Yeah, near enough.
Basically stripping out the old item pipe system, replacing it with the resource network. That was a lot of manual labor to do that. Mm-hmm. And
Sure.
the way that's been in the game since before 4.0, it's just basically been all the items just automatically connected themselves. That was just to get the system in, functional. And now we've been doing the passes of actually physically linking all the items correctly to the relays. So people will have seen in larger multi-crew ships that have released the last 2 years, physical relays, physical items, and it's literally connecting up the resource network for those. So when you have a ship that has an engineering screen, you can see all these connections, you can manage it. And for the initial release, everything will support engineering. It just comes in different sort of stages. It's obviously, everything has to work, step one.
Ideally.
Ideally.
Well, is that the requirement?
Yeah. It's not always a guarantee.
Not always a guarantee.
Let's just be real. It's not always a guarantee.
But obviously, a single-seater is less work and less requirements than, say, the Polaris, where a single-seater, you have the ability to repair your items through the MFD, and that's our sort of fallback case for a ship that doesn't have physical components. You could be able to do that gameplay from the cockpit, from an MFD, and then as we go through the ships, physicalizing all the items, adding engineering screens. Again, not every ship will have an engineering screen because it just doesn't make sense to do that.
No.
You get more and more of that gameplay unlocked, but it's not like if a ship doesn't have physical components, it's way better than one that does for the gameplay. They both get impacted the same.
Mr. Malzero in the chat says, what about armor? Well, yeah, it's coming too. So engineering's been on Tech Preview for a little while. It was on Tech Preview without armor. When they just finished the code check-in, I was talking to Torsten earlier today. When it returns to PTU, I think tomorrow, the day after, as soon as the build is where it needs to be, armor. The first version of armor will be in as part of engineering, and
Good.
it's going to dramatically change the balance between ballistics and lasers and all that stuff.
Different tiers of ships and everything.
Oh.
It's just fundamentally different
Yeah.
how combat's going to play out.
It's now you're now going to have this choice. Sure, I can use lasers if I want to peel down the shields and then melt the armor stuff, or if I know where the shield generator is and I've got ballistics, I can punch right through that and take those out faster. It's like it's going to be a real interesting challenge and change to combat. The more you know these ships, the more effective you're going to be and stuff. And then of course, continuing changes to flight model. The flight model will make that better and stuff as time goes on.
Yeah, well, it also massively benefits people actually taking larger crews, because if you're trying to fight on your own, you can't go around repairing all the components in the bigger ship. So it encourages you to actually go out with your friends because they stay in the fight a bit longer. It's going to be a huge shift in the dynamic of the multi-crew ships.
Yeah. So
It is.
we've
It
got
really is.
an ISC that'll air next week. that we shot with Torsten. It'll go over a bit. When the PTU goes, you'll learn more about engineering from PTU than you will from the ISC, as always. And then we're working on a big engineering doc to release alongside 4 or 5 that help explain a bunch of the fundamentals and stuff. So we're all shooting to get this out before the end of the year. So we're going to do our best. We've talked about making all the new ships. Talked about the choice between backlog stuff and whatever. There are still also there's this other class of stuff. There are still flight-ready ships who are still needing their gold standard. Their gold standard. So let's explain what the gold standard is real quick. And if you're so inclined, give me a list of what ships are getting their gold standard in 2026. I know it's a one question, but
and then I can't get in trouble.
I'm gonna push for it. I want to know what ships get their gold standard next year.
So gold standard, I mean, it's a term that kind of gets thrown around a lot, but for me, it's about if we were releasing that ship today, making sure it has all the features, all the functionality of a ship that we are releasing that's brand new. So really, it's going through and just kind of like, ticking off all of its components, its physical items, the different interactions, making sure the metrics are correct, and it's really just kind of bringing it up to the gameplay experience that a more modern ship would have. It's less about kind of making like stylistic changes for the just because you can. I think there's something to be said for kind of keeping a ship's history. Now we have obviously over the last 10 years or so things have improved in how we kind of create the ships. So we do tend to go in and make some material changes. We might relight it and do those sort of things. But I don't really want to go in and take away like the kind of core DNA of a ship. If we're going that far, then I think we may as well do a Mark II or a Mark III or whatever it might be. But for me, gold standard is just bringing it up to the kind of the functionality that we would if we were kind of
Seems to be
releasing
an
it today.
echo somewhere.
So that's gold standards. There's a lot of questions from the community thread, and we're going to get to that in a few minutes here, about the other ways we update the ships. So there's the gold standard, which you just explained.
Yep.
And then there's an outright rework. You've got. I think it's Polaris owners are now somewhat envious of the Perseus interior.
Yeah.
Star Runner owners are looking at the Clipper's second entrance and being like, "Where's my second entrance?" The 600i.
Yeah.
Just do that there. Sometimes we do a gold standard. Sometimes we shoot for a rework, and sometimes we do a Mark II, as we did with the Hornet. So talk to me about how the choice between a rework and a Mark II comes about.
Yeah, this is I want to hear.
With the reworks versus Mark II, it depends on what we're trying to achieve and whether what already exists actually achieves that. So using the 600i as a prime example, just as a talking point for one, when we made the original 600i, we had a particular vision for how we wanted the interior to be used and laid out, and then as the game evolved, we realized that the interior just doesn't work for what we actually want the ship to be able to do, what we want to achieve, what we want the experience to be while using it. And realistically, if that ship was left in the state that it was, it wouldn't actually fit its role or purpose within the game. So what we want to do is rework something like that. It needs to be taken back and then re-reviewed, and obviously everyone's seen the rework images, the concept board. There's an entire thread on Spectrum where people are keeping track of everything for it that we've ever said and covered. That's the rework. That's when what's there doesn't work. It doesn't need tweaked. It doesn't need things adding. It doesn't need minor changes. It's straight up. It just needs removing and putting back in. The gold standard can sometimes be just bringing something up to scratch. So that's adding, say, the suit locker's missing, or the weapon rack doesn't work, or other features that help the gameplay experience but don't require us to fundamentally change something about the ship. And then the Mark IIs exist where the Mark I, the original, still works for the role, but we want to make it bigger and better, but we don't want to get rid of what the original role was being fulfilled. So if we talk about the Aurora,
The what?
Too late now.
if we talk about the Aurora, so the Aurora interior. Oh man, I'm getting in trouble after this.
Mark, let's do it.
Okay, so
Do it.
the Aurora is obviously getting the gold. It's not obviously, but people are now hearing the Aurora's getting the gold standard.
If you've been reading the monthly reports,
Is it in the monthly report? Thank God I missed that. Okay, so the Aurora is getting the gold standard. So what that is, the interior still mostly works, but there's some tweaks needed to make it work with our gameplay loops. But we don't need to strip the entire interior back. It needs a place to put weapons. It needs a place so you can actually walk inside with storage boxes. It needs a fire extinguisher. We don't need to gut the entire ship. So that's why the Aurora is getting its gold standard. It doesn't need a full rework. And we don't want to change what the Aurora is, because the Aurora's, it's the Aurora. So that's when a Mark II might come along, because we could do something bigger, better, different, something we're more interested and engaged in, something that allows it to be more than what it was, but is something new.
Don't give me this my stuff. You already said it and they already saw my reaction. An Aurora Mark II is coming.
Yeah, the Aurora Mark II is a thing. I'm not going to go into details about it, but it allows us to take the DNA of what a Mark I is and then expand upon it, make it something different, make it its next generation of itself.
yeah. If you look at it compared to like, the Hornets,
Just looked at the chat.
the Hornet Mark II and the Mark I side by side, you can tell they are both Anvil Hornets, even though they are stylistically very different. They're the same role, they're the same rough shape, and that's what we want to do with the Mark I Auroras and the Mark II. That you look at it and go, that's an Aurora. It does the same roles, but it's new RSI style.
So, why make an Aurora Mark II? That's from the chat.
Primarily, a big visual upgrade compared to the Mark Is, but there are so many Mark Is out in people's accounts. Like, it's one of the most iconic Star Citizen ships. We don't want to just suddenly one day, poof, they all disappear, and you've all got this new other ship that you perhaps didn't want 10 years ago. So it's the same with the Mark I Hornets. We didn't get rid of them and replace everybody's with Mark IIs. We want both can coexist, and yeah, like I say, as collector's editions for I was here.
Pretty
Back when the Mark
lonely
Is was a
around
thing.
here.
It is one of our kind of like iconic starships. You kind of want, you know, it's getting its gold standard to make it, to bring it up to what we want that experience to be. And then the Mark II gives us an opportunity to update its visuals to a point that it, you know, like I say, it's kind of like the new
Many hours
generation
left
of
to
RSI. So it gives us the options to do
Oh,
kind of
about an hour and a half.
both
Darn.
the making the originals function and play how we want, and also doing a kind of a full visual overhaul as well. And there'll be people out there that will be like, don't like it, I want to keep Mark 1. And there'll be people out there that will be like, Mark 1's not for me, I love Mark 2. And that's you know, that's a good thing, more options.
So I'm going to say something, and I don't want you to react one way or the other.
And just don't put the camera on us.
But with the opportunity, there's been a fan idea out there for as long as I've been here, well over a decade, for what an update to the Aurora could do. And I just want to know, have you seen it, and are you considering it?
Well, adding ramps instead of stairs.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
We're absolutely considering ramps instead of stairs, don't worry.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it at that. And we'll go ahead and confirm that's coming in 2026, because why not? It's on the 2026 schedule. First half.
Enough.
There's nobody left to get angry at me. There have been a few cargo capacity changes recently. The raft, which was a big surprise. Like I didn't even know about that until it went live, and I'm like, what?
This guy just
And then a few more coming up in the future with the whole series. The Raylan, which we managed to sneak in there with a little hologram thing, as well as an announcement that it's coming in 2026, which was nice. And I hear even
Thank you
cargo
for the
changes
follow,
Grand
John
Club
Viper.
are probably in order. What can you tell us about these? Yeah.
let's start with the whole series. They were concepted back 2015.
2015. By the great Jim Martin.
by the great Jim Martin. Back then, they were everyone's favorite measurement of cargo, freight units.
How many FUs a ship
They had
had?
so many FUs. And then it got converted to SCUs. And as we brought the whole series to the game, the whole C actually, I think, kept at its original
Pretty
SCU
close.
conversion rate. The hull A was 48 at concept, but we increased that to 64. Again, cargo metrics in our game solidified over the years. It didn't make sense to do this weird 48 because it didn't nicely fit in with the size cargo crates we have in the game. And as part of that, we decided that we want 32 SCU containers to be our largest container in the game. There's not going to be like a magical 64, 128, 256 one. And that sort of has knock-ons for the whole D&E. But I want to talk about the whole B first, in that we've been working on that. And that was 384 SCU at concept. It's now going to be 512. And it can still land with the cargo fully on, planet side, and you can get in and out of it is an important thing. There was a lot of finagling to get that to fit.
Finagling.
We don't have images. I want to be clear. We don't have images because Ben gave them to me and I forgot to load them up. So you can blame me. But essentially, it went from this to like this in order to...
Yeah.
Should be a concept art, Jared.
Yeah.
That's that, and
I paint
then
pictures with words.
Yeah.
slightly longer, but still within the same hand
It,
size.
it was a little bit of a headache, but we tried a lot of different things, but yeah, we got there at the end. So yeah.
Well, it'll be all right. It'll be a nice reveal when it comes, and you're working on it now. So that's all we'll say about that one. Did you just say it's coming in 2026?
Yeah, if we're doing this, let's go.
All right. Yeah, the whole B is coming in 2026 too. That's
Should we just list them all, John?
no.
No silhouettes this year. We're doing this instead.
Yeah, I got a question about the silhouettes. Talk to me about the railing.
Raylan, 320 to 640. People have seen the hologram in the halls and seen a lot of comments about the triangles missing.
Yeah.
It's not. It's fake news.
Yeah, it's not. So the hologram was based off of the game we have in the model we have in the game at the moment. We are currently working out exactly what we're going to do with the cargo on it in terms of I want to keep the aesthetics there. I want to keep it as close as we can to the original concept, but I also want to make sure that it works and you know, like I say, we don't want to end up with these weird shaped kind of cargo containers. So we're trying a few different things. Haven't nailed it down in concept yet. It's kind of in the next couple of weeks we'll start looking at it, but it will support kind of just standard cargo metrics. We will keep the kind of like the visuals of these triangles. They may be like a frame that kind of clasps around it and holds it and kind of moves out of the way. There may be little end caps. Not sure exactly, but it was just a case of we haven't fully resolved that yet. So that's why it's not on there.
Okay.
But it is.
Yeah.
That is still the plan.
I won't go back to the D&E because I forgot to go back to them.
Yeah, I was going to go back after
Okay.
we did the Iron 2, but you can do it now. We'll sandwich some bad news in with the
Yeah,
good news.
whole D&E owners sit down because this is going to sound like bad news, but it's
That's right.
it's the
You
news.
look right at your camera there. There you go.
This one.
Yep. Nope. Give him the John Crew camera.
Move out of the way.
Give him the bad news camera.
Zoom in.
Bad news camera.
Your cargo capacity is going quite a long way down. So the D, and I've got my notes here, is going down to 6,912 SCU, which is a lot of SCU. And the E is going down to 12,288 SCU. So, gut reaction, that's a big drop from, I think, 98,000, and I can't remember what the D was.
Yeah.
But for years, people have quite rightly said, this is going to be so boring. I don't want to sit and load 3,000 plus 32 SCU containers by hand, or even in an org.
Yeah.
Economy-wise, huge concerns. And then performance-wise, also huge concerns. So whilst they have on paper gone down by a big percentage, they are still
The top of
the absolute top. And we have no plans currently to have any ships that get anywhere near those. Like, I can't think of one that actually beats the whole C at this point in terms of cargo capacity. So the D&E is still the cream of the crop. Their role remains unchanged as the bulk and super carriers. They're just, their SU comes down to more reasonable levels.
Yeah.
I'd genuinely be curious to see how long it would take to load a hull E with the original numbers. Hand on heart, generally curious how long it would take to put that many 32 SUs on it.
Yeah, and we looked at the concept meshes of it, and there's some quirks. They basically add extra spindle for the D and then for the E, but the scaling's all like off, and there was just no way we could even get to those numbers with the current actual cargo metrics. Like the spindles would have had to have like quadrupled in size.
Yeah.
As it
Wow.
was
I think proportionally would look
proportionally
interesting. And obviously, we will revisit the concepts when we kind of get to that point as well, because they're going to need a full pass.
It's one of those things. I'm looking at chat here live. I think a lot of people suspected the same thing. It's like the numbers never quite made made sense. They were a mistake back then. When these are ships that are not coming in 2026, but we know the answer now. We know what the correction is. And John came to me, gosh, it was like last week, I think, and said, hey, I'd really like to get this information out there now. There's no reason to sit on it. So I really appreciate you doing that. Back to some better news then, Ironclad. We're talking about cargo.
Yes, so that's obviously in production. Again, monthly reports, backlog ships are always mentioned in there. We don't keep them a secret. Ironclad cargo capacity, both of them, going up. So the base Ironclad was 1,536.
1536.
That's going up to 2,204, and the Assault's going from 1,152 to 1,440.
I see why you got notes now.
Yeah, this is why I have it written down. Again, they may change slightly as we get close to release, but it's that proportional change. Why did that happen?
We reshuffled the inside of it. It's as it went. It was the bulkhead move, and it was changing where the ladders were. So there was, as we went into when we went through white box with the actual layout, we then get a good chance to walk around and play and feel what the ship would be like. There were a few changes that happened to the layout and how we were orientating everything. And as things push and pull around a little bit, there's a little bit more space. It made sense to fill it, so we ended up putting a little bit more cargo in there. It's one of those things where there might be a little bit of change. We'll never go down, but we'll sometimes take it up a little. Well, sometimes might go down. Talk about the whole D and whole E. But it made sense for the layout and everything, so just got a little bit more cargo because it made sense to add it, and it looked dumb not being there. Because it looked just like a gap, so...
Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? When we were looking at it, there was some gaps in the cargo grid, and it's kind of like, if they're justifiable, it's fine, but when there's just a gap, it's just people are just going to shove more cargo in it anyway.
Yeah,
so.
right. Well, it was just because the ladders moved. Yeah. Originally, there was paths so you could get the ladders to the catwalks, but because we moved them out to the side, it just didn't make sense for it anymore.
The Aurora Mark 1 sneak peek image that went out a few weeks ago was sat in the Ironclad's cargo hold as a background, just for a little bit of a...
Oh, we didn't mention when the Aurora Gold Standard arrives.
2026.
It's also coming with all those damn Kickstarter campaign
I've gone
paints.
pretty Sherlock Holmes on some of the old paints and trawling our archives and the internet, trying to find all the details of the paints that
Going back to the original Kickstarter
were
page.
once promised before my time, and
Literally some of the oldest outstanding things. One of the reasons I really respect and enjoy working with John and Ben and sometimes Mark is that we can have a conversation at like 11 o'clock at night about how, guys, if we're going to do this gold standard, we really should
All right, sorry about
dig out
that,
these
chat.
things. We really should dig out
My
these
alerts
things that
weren't
existed
active
before. I
for
was
some
here before.
reason.
You were here before. You were here. Figure out what they are. Figure out what's going to take to get them and do them. And you guys are always down for stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely. If that's something we're on the hook for and deliver, let's just get it out of the way and stuff like this.
I think
It's just nice.
There's 4 that we know what they look like, and there's still 2 or 3 that I can't find any visuals for at all.
No, they never had any visuals.
So we'll just we'll make something cool.
Yeah. So, all right. And finally, before we get to the player questions portion of the show, the last question that's from me Every other question for the rest of the show is from you folks. What was my question? We didn't do a silhouette thing for CitizenCon Direct this year, mostly because the two of you are lazy.
It's in us one.
So we didn't do a silhouette. We're not going to do one here today. Don't get that. Hand shapes.
There's a whiteboard. I'll just drag it over. We'll start doing everything for 2026.
There are still two outstanding ships from that silhouette of things that were supposed to come in the next year. Go ahead. We've already revealed. We've already said the Aurora Gold Standard is coming next year. We've already said the Aurora Mark II is coming next year. We've already said the. Oh, I almost revealed.
Not that easy, is it, Jared, when there's so many of them?
Tell me what those two ships are.
Okay, there we
There's
go.
actually three.
It's actually three.
There's actually three. So everyone thinks it was the MTC silhouette, but it was actually the MFC, which Ben announced in the MDC video yesterday. Yeah. So that's the crafting version.
That's the fabricating version of the.
Yep. Yeah. So basically, it's got it swaps out the rear section for a crafting section. Opens up.
With some lovely images again.
Okay.
Yeah. Does this. Yeah. Just imagine the back.
Goes up like that.
It kind of adds a little bit of like shielding, so you can get to your crafter if you're under attack and reload.
Chris would be so proud of us, right?
Yeah, I know, it's brilliant. It's basically how I deal with my team. It's just this.
It's the classic art director gif. Of just
So yeah, we've got that.
The big Anvil Atlas chassis one is the Auxilia.
Yep.
Which is, if you like the Clipper, it's basically that in an Atlas ground vehicle chassis. So it has a crafting machine, same dimensions as the one in the Clipper, and a tier 2 med bed in it, in a big hulking great.
It looks really cool as well.
It looks really cool.
Yeah.
Nice little kind of forward operating base.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Drive it in, and you've got your little respawn and crafting and everything.
Keep trying that bunker mission.
Yeah. And then the last one, a lot of people correctly guessed was a Glest. Guest was a consolidated Outlands ship, and that is, I think, currently called the Forge. I don't know whether we're going to keep that name or not. And you can guess from the name what it does. It's another crafting ship. It's basically a small to medium-sized solo ship with a whacking great crafting machine, bigger than the ones people have seen in the Clipper and other ships. And it also has an onboard refinery, so you can refine goods to make your things you are crafting or fabricating. And then 11th hour request for it as well was, much like the Pioneer, it's super big brother. It also has ground extractors in it, so you can land on a planet and extract the resources to refine, to use for your crafting.
And I mean, with that one, we were fairly early with the concept when we kind of paused it. Yeah. The concept's super cool. It's got this amazing kind of like slab front kind of glass canopy to it.
Full width flat glass.
Yeah, full width flat glass. So it was a really cool looking ship. Can't wait to pick it back up. But I don't know if we'll end up doing.
We'll end up tweaking it.
Yeah.
We'll again, it's got a, like we talked about earlier, we don't want to do things that
we're
not confident that the gameplay is going to be there in time for its release. And it got a few extra
problem
things
solved
than when we started the concept for it. So then that's obviously pause it.
And obviously, if it hasn't been apparent now, the reason those didn't come out last year is because crafting didn't come out last year.
Yeah, and you know, it was on the production schedule, but we knew ahead of time enough that we were going to end up with a ship that didn't have the gameplay, so we pulled that out. I can't remember what we put in its place, but we released something else in its place.
So is crafting coming in 2026?
It's above my pay grade, so you need to
ask that team.
We're going to try. All right. Oh, there was a good question in the chat. I lost it. Oh well. You know who you were. So let's jump into the questions from the community. So the next 30 questions or so are entirely from members of our player base, and we've grouped them into a couple different subjects. Let's start with some Perseus questions. We'll start with the questions related to our 6 currently new vehicles at IAE. And the first question, and these are generally in order of what they were voted up most that could actually be addressed. Will you be adding gravitational plates to the outside walkway of the Perseus?
No. It
Next
was.
question.
Yeah, next question.
I want to. Why would they do that?
A lot of people love those
It's
areas that
like,
you walk around
why?
the ships. There's some really fun, annoying bugs and technical consequences from it that happen as a result of basically abusing the setup to get that to function. And for the Perseus, we really just wanted it as this planet side, like I've landed on a planet in my Perseus, and then I've got this nice little balcony on the side of it that I can go out the.
Doesn't it
bridge
already
right
have a
door and
walkway
just
though?
survey the land and
I could be
defend the
confused,
ship
but
from.
yeah, I
Some
thought
would
it
say
had
that
a
we won't
walkway.
ever explore some gravitational
there's-
plates on the
there's-
walkways.
Sure,
like
but
those.
it's not the physics grid method that we currently use. So that we used to have it on the outside of the character, stop people clipping themselves into the back of it and stuff. It's not what that system's intended for, and there's way too many consequences as a result of using it.
All those people hoovering up transport shuttles and asteroids with the front of their 890s and Carracks and things like that.
It's their fault.
It's their fault.
Okay. Why is the Perseus pilot? Why does
Learn
the
to
Perseus
spell,
pilot
Jared.
control the ship's torpedoes when the Polaris pilot isn't allowed to use the torpedoes? There's a lot of questions from some rather salty Polaris owners who see the Perseus and like, why not me? So, what's the deal with the torpedoes there, Mark?
I'll let John give the good news.
Oh,
It is good news.
it is good
Come on.
news.
Because you're not
in
important
Warcraft,
anymore. There are
we
better ships
allow
than
one of the bridge
Polaris.
stations. We were talking about this last night. Which
We
one was it?
went for the gun, not the missile.
The gun one, not the missile. So the back right station of the Polaris bridge will have torpedo control as well now. It's, as you can imagine, you can use it from there. There's still a reason to go down into the depths of the ship to use it because you then get that 360 camera, and it also has a much larger queue of missiles from there.
Yeah.
So how many did we sell on there? 8?
8. So can I
Eight.
queue up 8
So
at
if you want
once?
to bankrupt yourself, go down to the basement of the Polaris and queue up 8 torpedoes. Something you don't want to exist. So yes, we do want to, and people will in 4.5 have it. So at least they're on the bridge together doing things. Why not the pilot?
Yeah, why not?
Because we sort of want to have some enforced balance there. The Perseus torpedoes are way smaller, way less damage compared to the Polaris ones.
I think there's this thing. It's like when the Mercury Star Runner owners look at the Clipper. It has a second entrance. It's like this. There's this. It's easy to want every ship to have everything.
Yeah.
It's real easy and completely understandable from a player standpoint. Let's just be real. You have your favorite ship, and your favorite ship can't do something that some other ship does, and that irks.
It
does,
but
this is my favorite ship, and I want my favorite ship to do everything because it's my favorite, and this is the last ship I want to fly. But weirdly, that's not exactly great game design. You don't want everybody to just pick one ship and that's the only ship they ever fly for the remainder of their time in the game, because that becomes boring. You want choice. You want you want.
yeah, but a lot of
compelling
people
differences
want
between
that,
this
so
ship,
it's
that
like,
ship, and the other ship and stuff like that.
uh,
So while there's certainly things that can be done, like
Yeah.
like adding the control to another station, behind the Polaris and stuff to bring certain things into parity, you don't want this forced equalization of all things.
Yeah, and without even looking at the chat over there, I can already tell they're going, well, the Polaris doesn't have this. Why does the Idris pilot get the railgun? And I can see that, and it's a sort of different problem in that if you don't give the pilot of a ship that has a fixed weapon on the front of it control over firing that weapon, it's basically useless. You will never hit anything trying to coordinate between two people with something with such force accuracy. That doesn't mean that we're happy with how powerful that railgun or beam is and won't look to balance that in the future, but it's not justification for the Polaris pilot or co-pilot, because we also had this discussion of why do we just give it to the co-pilot of the Polaris? Well, then no one will sit in the pilot seat because they'll go sit in the co-pilot seat because they can fly and then shoot the torpedoes at the same time. So it's all sort of a fun multi-layered thing, and it can seem like, oh, they're just ignoring the problem, but there's lots of things to consider.
Yeah, and I think there's loads of balance things, and there's loads of things that we've just learned over time that we could improve on. And we're not saying we're never going to go back and make improvements to ships, but these guys are trying to balance them. So
you just wandered into one of my, I've got my 7 catchphrases, that have developed over the last decade and a half. And one of them is that every ship that you guys make is better than the last. I mean, I really truly believe that. There's this idea that it's another really easy idea to fall into, that we just know everything in 2012. We know everything in 2014, we know everything in 2016, we know everything in 2018, that we don't learn from each ship that we make. When the reality is we do, and we should. We should learn from every ship we make. Not Falco, oh gosh, I can't think of his name, when we were talking about the Perseus. Probably. About the signage on the Perseus. We should learn from these things and get better with every single one.
Do we go into this or not? Or have we got time to talk about Perseus, Polaris, things?
Yeah, by all
Sorry.
means, do it.
So I think so. There was a little misconception over the Polaris, is that we didn't have signage because we didn't know what we were doing, or we didn't have signage for this and the other.
I assumed you didn't know.
I'll be honest. I didn't want it to be overly signposted, and was that right? Probably not now, looking back at it, because the general feedback has been people much
Pretty
prefer it.
not good.
What I was trying to do with the Polaris was I wanted it to feel like a cold, intimidating, kind of brutalist space that wasn't like particularly welcoming, wasn't particularly well signposted. Like, they were all decisions that we were making to try and make it feel just somewhere that was a war machine. And that was kind of like the vision that I was trying to put into it. Did the team ask to put signage? Yeah, some of the team did want to put signage on it, and I was like, actually, I don't want to overcook it. Obviously, on top of that, it was the first time that we were learning a lot as we were going. We were building out kind of RSI kits. We were kind of investing a lot of time into like the underlying structure that we needed to then be able to build future ships quicker and smoother. And I think, obviously with the Perseus, we saw that a lot of the feedback was people didn't like it, people got lost, they didn't like the lighting, they thought it was bland and everything else. So we used the Perseus as an opportunity, and the NA team, they did a fantastic job with it, and all credit to those guys that they looked at it and they were like, what did we learn? What are we going to improve? And it's resoundingly been a success. Everyone seems to, or from what I've seen, it's been very, very positive in how that's been received. Are we going to go back and change that on the Polaris? Are we going to go back and make changes? We will make changes. When? It's not coming tomorrow. So we need a little bit of time to kind of go back and focus it. We are making some quality of life changes sooner rather than later, but what I don't want to do is I don't want to kind of like knee-jerk react, make loads of changes to it, put it all in, and then them not be, just kind of rush it. I'd rather kind of do it right and have a little bit of time just to kind of let the dust settle, look at what was really successful, learn from it, and go in and make those changes to it. So I was trying to do one thing and it turned out people didn't like it, and that's fine. Like, that's absolutely fine. And I'd rather have the opportunity to go in and fix it than actually, no, screw you guys, you're kind of done. So yeah, we will go back, we will kind of make updates to it. Will it be as colourful and bright as what the Perseus is? Maybe, maybe not. But I want to experiment with it and try it first before I kind of hard commit to, this is exactly what we're doing.
I appreciate your candor on that. Chat's made that comment a couple of times in the show today. It's one of the things I like about getting to do these shows, is that we get to just be real candid about that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's some things happen because of, it takes a village, and there's 30 people involved in that, and a thing is like that because it has to be the synthesized decisions of 30 people, and that's why it ended up that way. And some things are, I wanted it that way, and I take credit and also responsibility.
Yeah, responsibility. That's
yeah,
it.
exactly. And I really appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
And whatnot. And again, just to read between the lines there, eventually he said he'd go back and look at some quality of life stuff in the short term. But this, like the folks who have been waiting for the 600i, rework. This isn't a rework, but it's just when we talk about these things, we're giving our best intentions and knowledge that we have at the time. But that's not a schedule.
Yeah, and there's some things that we can do relatively quickly, and there's other things that take a little bit more time and just a little bit more thought process into it. And I just want to make sure that we kind of like we do it right.
Yeah, but I will say the RSI kit, like in the last. Starting with the Polaris, I know we just had some words about the Polaris interior, but there is so much of the Polaris that just pushed that RSI brand beyond.
Yeah, and then we also have the Zeus.
The Polaris and the Zeus, and stuff like this. It's
there was this whole thing with the Polaris and the Zeus where, for me, the Polaris was originally I'd wanted RSI military ships to feel like, and the Zeus was this commercial, something like a little bit more inviting, a little bit more welcoming, and I think with the Perseus we've kind of found that really nice balance between the two. So we just need to go back and sort it.
I'm excited about the future of RSI. I've always been, I've always been an admitted Drake guy because I like the usable future and everything. But the last RSI, it's what I saw with the Zeus, what I saw with the Polaris was just like, oh, maybe I have a new favorite. And it's nice when your favorite also shares the boss's name, just as a political commentary. This next question is simply, shark mouth Perseus skin, please.
Maybe. Not sure yet. I'm going to be non-committal. I don't know. I'll be honest. When Chris asked for the shark mouth Idris, I was just like, nah.
Well, you know what I could. But, we got all these like monthly holiday promotions, Stella Fortuna, and I could go back there. We could invent Shark Week.
Shark Week, okay.
Shark Week 30th century.
I bet you Shark Week.
And just force you to make shark paints
thanks.
for.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to see if someone in chat says that Shark Week's already a thing.
It is a
thing. It is a thing in real life, but this is the 30th century.
Yeah.
Moving over.
We just continued it.
Do sharks still exist in the 30th century?
Manny, let's talk about a Shark Week. Manny doesn't watch the show. The next question. Star Kitten Perseus paint, please.
Woo!
2 different people.
One of them wasn't me, I promise.
Yeah, I was going to say, is this Mark? So it's always Star Kitten, isn't it?
Yep.
Bloody Star Kitten.
Just give us
Ben hates Star Kitten.
No.
Like everyone's like, give us Star Kitten. Ben's just like, nah, can't. I refuse.
Everyone thinks I hate Star Kitten. I don't hate Star Kitten.
It's like me and Drake.
I just want it to be used and released for a reason.
Deliberately.
Yeah, like if we have a Star Kitten celebration month, then yeah, of course we do Star Kitten paints, like, absolutely. But I don't want to just slap Star Kitten on it.
Are you challenging me?
No, just because everyone likes Star, I think it's got to feel right, and just slapping it on the side of a ship for no reason doesn't feel right to me. I'd love to build out that whole family, whole brand a little bit further, so it's not just Star Kitty. There's a whole host of characters.
Star Shark.
Star Shark, yeah, that's fine. But yeah, not right now.
Okay.
Yeah, unless Chris asks me to, and then I'll be
I doubt that request will come from.
Oh, I don't know.
He does have a whimsical streak.
He is on board with doing
that
more
people don't give him
family,
credit
so,
for.
Yeah.
The fact that I've survived.
Today's kind of boring and slow.
But
Yeah.
Last Perseus question: how will ammunition be replaced on the Perseus during combat? Will there be some kind of ammunition containers in the cargo hold?
Yes, so I think we've talked about this before, but I'll go over it again. We have plans, short term.
We have plans.
You'll be able to
Plans.
sort of restock, rearm, refuel from select ships from the stores that you have loaded onto their cargo grids, and if there's another ship in the hangar bay, whatever.
Talked about that at Syzygon Direct. So
we talk about so much, I'm starting to forget when and where we said stuff.
Mm.
So that's more for like rearming and refueling ships that are docked aboard your ship, landed on your ship. But the same will apply to ammo as well. So if you've got ballistic ammo on your ship, ballistic weapons, short term, it will essentially hoover it out the cargo grid. Mid, long term, we'll have like dedicated space next to those turrets. We sort of left space for this in the Perseus 2 turret rooms. They're just arted up with like fluff. You see it in the stance attack. There's all this cool artwork. that implies loading of stuff, that you'll be then manually loading the specific ammo type into that area, and that will go to
Tell
that
it to
weapon.
do to me.
Salvation questions. Can you add a button on the back of the salvation to keep expelling the boxes in the buffer? Having to keep going into the cockpit to press the button should not be necessary. Thank you. That sounds like a bug.
Yeah, if you've pressed the button in the cockpit to keep auto-ejecting, it should just keep auto-ejecting, and if not, it's a bug.
Did that get removed?
Didn't get it working. It is a bug though, so it should, if we get to issue cancel, we can get that looked into.
Okay. Will the salvation fit in and work with the Galaxy's refinery module? Look, I mentioned the Galaxy.
Galaxy question, the only one.
It will fit inside the rear hangar, and then you can unload the cargo and refine it.
Yeah, there's like a big double door from the rear hangar to the modular section, so
It'll
easy.
be relatively easy to fit inside there, to be honest.
We might have to stop.
Get a couple in there, not a
Y'all
bother.
are gonna jinx yourselves.
Double door into the refinery module.
I hadn't thought of that.
Good challenge.
No, I don't want people doing that.
Chat's like, Galaxy 2026 confirmed. What made you decide to lock the salvation salvage beams to modified cinches instead of allowing them to be upgradable, swappable?
So the main role and purpose of the salvation is to be a introduction into the actual the entire world of salvage. It's a good entry ship just to get started, and we wanted the heads that came with it to specifically try and be a easy experience. So it's very forgiving, but obviously the result is the yield isn't very good. It's just supposed to be, hey, listen, you know you don't really know what you're doing very well with it. Let's make it nice and easy for you. And then if you end up really liking the Kree and wanting to progress, you move out of the salvation. Yeah. So we wanted to be able to very strictly control that experience and not have that head used on other ships, because it's not meant to be a good optimal head. It's just supposed to be
it's literally a starter.
Easy. Yeah. That's exactly in a nutshell. We don't want to add complexity to a starter.
Yeah, it's the same thing we did with the Golem.
Yeah,
earlier
exactly
this year.
that it's the when we originally talked about them, we talked about them being the opposite sides. One salvation.
Yeah. Torsten's not here. I don't know if cinches are the best option for hull scraping. It's supposed to focus on hull scraping, but that might just be me being a little bitch.
The beauty of them being locked and bespoke versions is we can tune them. Like if they're not performing how we want, then we can change them.
All right, let's move on to Clipper.
No Clippy.
That was a. You ever see it? You know, there are things you see in this game. You know, in this project, you work here long enough, you see a lot of things. The Intrepid showing up early and everybody absolutely hating it, and then it going live, and then it moving like hotcakes as far as volume. The Clipper, you know, when we put it in,
Everyone's like,
you put it into build, and you know, those folks who data mine and stuff like that, putting out YouTube videos and whatever, and be like, oh, this thing's so ugly and whatnot, and then it goes live, and I mean, it's now the most successful Drake introduction ship that we've ever done. Yeah. So where was I going with it? Where was I going with this? I got lost. Oh, there's a question here. They already wrote it. The Clipper. What will it be able to craft?
Obviously, we're not the people doing crafting, so I can't give you exacts, but it's designed to be FPS items and small ship items, sort of within that world. It's not designed to be like, I want to make another vehicle. It's clearly not going to fit, and it's sort of part of the balance of that ship. Everyone's like, why does it not have a bigger cargo bay? Why doesn't it have a bigger this? It's the jack of all trades, master of none. It has a relatively small cargo grid, relatively small crafting machine to sort of constrain that.
I feel like there was a pretty good answer to this question in the Q&A. In the Q&A that got published alongside, and that's that, you know, basically, you know, crafting is still being worked on. We did a segment on it at CISCON Direct, what the very first version of crafting is currently scheduled to look like. It should avail itself of everything in that first version, but then as crafting continues to develop and it continues to diversify, you know, the nature
Kind of a slow day today. It's ugly looking outside, chat. It really is. It's just not pleasant looking.
Answer that we can give right now. Trispone says, Jared, it's still ugly though. Your mom.
Ooh, what?
I love the Clipper. Why has the Clipper, despite its massive physical size,
Like another vehicle, it's clearly not going to fit. And it's sort of part of the balance of that ship. Everyone's like, has a relatively small cargo grid. Relative
answer to the crafting is currently scheduled. Crafting will probably says, Jared, it's still ugly though. Your mom. I love the Clipper. Why has the Clipper, despite its massive physical size, only 2 size 1 shields?
Again, it's the jack of all trades, master of none. If we gave it really big shields, like when we were doing this,
Did it just have
I
one
had quite a few
size
times
2?
where it's sort of
I mean,
its
I'm
role
just
and
saying.
capabilities, and we were pretty concerned it was just going to be like, when people first heard about it, they're like, this is going to break the game. Like, we need to have some form of like balance and control on it. And
That's
sort of
balance?
why it doesn't have a huge amount of shields. And as a benefit of having size 1 shields, it means you can actually craft size 1 shields. Like if your shield gets destroyed, you can go craft another one on board and go fix it. Whereas if you had a size 2 shield, it's probably not going to fit. Like we wouldn't have had space to fit it it would have got even bigger, taller, longer to fit that.
Also, it's quite Drake, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it kind of fits with the theme.
Too many guns, too few shields.
Yeah.
Colour zones.
Send it. It's fine.
And this next question with Clipper, we originally had Rich on the show from the vehicle experience team. He wasn't able to make it at the last minute, so this is really a question for him. But why limit the Clipper in speed to below 1,000 and not 1,100 to 1,200? This ship should be fast based on its name and the number of engines. So we know his answer was balance, just what
47 minutes.
in line with it being a generalist and not a specific speed demon kind of thing. There are a lot of engines.
There are, again, it's Drake. There's a lot of engines. They may not be the best engines in the world, but it makes up for them
Sure
with
do
the number.
look cool though.
Yeah, it looks cool. Like,
Big doesn't mean they're powerful.
no, exactly. Yeah.
I do.
Very inefficient.
This it's a weird thing to like, but the animation on the engines is really satisfying to watch when you open it up. I don't know why. There are two things that are getting really. Again, it's really nice to see evolve over time. One is the ship animations are getting really, really, really dialed in. And two, I'm gonna shout out Simon and everybody on CIG Audio, your ship audio lately. We had Simon on. I can't remember how long. Simon and Phil on about the new era and CIG Audio team and whatnot, and what they've been doing for our ships this year. The L-22 weapons specifically.
The Wolf's noises were incredible. The audio from the weapons.
Like, I know it makes no sense to the vacuum of space. I don't care. Looks cool. Speaking of the Wolf, we only had one question here about the Wolf. Will the kits for the Wolf be available in-game for AUEC? Yes, eventually. The Wolf weapon kits are no different than let's see, how many have we done? So we introduced the first weapon kit with the Idris K. The Idris K was a weapon kit, and then we introduced that back in 2019 and whatnot. And yeah, it didn't come online until May of this year, but it came online there. The Heartseeker turret for the Hornet in February is another weapon kit. That is currently not in game. I just had a conversation with Andre and the economy guys. That's going in game in 4.5. It's just one of those things that we didn't see it. The Nova tank Gatling gun and the Scorpius missile turrets. Those were sold exclusively on the store for a period of time to fund the project, and then those are in game now. These are absolutely no different. It's no different than all those things that we've literally been doing since 2019 with the Idris K kit. It's the weapon kits, like the ship weapons. We used to. I'm gonna go off on a tangent here. We used to make variants that were just weapon loadouts, like the Hornet Wildfire and the Saber Comet and stuff like this and whatnot. At the Starfighters, the Ion and the Inferno and whatnot. And I don't think any of us really felt super good about that. It was where the tech was at the time, and that's what we could do. Now with this era of weapon kits and whatever, we cannot have to develop an entire variant just for a loadout thing. And I think that's a better value proposition for our players, quite frankly. But it is still a means of just like we used to sell those, I'm just going to call them kind of crappy variants, weapon loadout variants. We used to sell those for stuff on the project. Now we do these instead of those. And like everything, they'll go into the game. I don't know what the period of exclusivity is, but it's not hardcore and defined. It's like the Heartseeker turrets going in now because it just is. But yeah, those will go in. The K weapon kit will go in at some point back when I leave here. I don't think it's in right now, so I'll go and I'll talk to economy after this.
Idris T.
The Idris T kit, right? Idris T. We've done weapon kits for a while now, and stuff like this. So they all make it into the game eventually. So no.
Can I just mention one wolf thing?
Yeah.
Is I know the paints were a little bit broken when they went out.
Right.
It hurt me, but it was either that or broken damage, and it was deemed that we wanted the ship to function properly, even if the paints were a little bit broken. The yellow lines over the front retros just crushed me. Yeah. But it's been fixed. It was fixed within a few hours of the build going. It was just something that was too late for us to fix for the release.
And yes, Chad is reminding me eventually a way to get the railgun for the Idris M from the Idris M.
In a fitness shop.
Big shop.
Big shop.
Yep. I think the big mistake is everybody assumes they go into UEC shops.
Yeah.
And that's never been what's said. They will be attainable in game. So for the long time, UEC shops were the only.
This has been modified.
But now loot is diversifying. People.
This is a
the
ironclad.
physicalization of helmets and stuff like this. It's there's going to be certain things you can only get through loot.
Why do I have two ironclads?
Is somewhere around the corner. That will be another way to attain these things.
Do I have two?
And Wicklow, everybody's favorite.
Everyone's favorite Banny.
Which some people online, not completely incorrectly, have dubbed crafting light. When it works. Despite what some people online have said, I've never sat here and lied to you, not once in 11 years. I'm not going to start now. But all of these different ways are ways to achieve, or ways to acquire things in game. It's not just automatically UEC shops. That said, the wolf kits will eventually be in UEC shops. I'm just making a point that it's not just automatically that. All right, so let's move to some general ship questions. Really excited about the Generalist class of ships, seemingly formalized by the Clipper. Any other manufacturers that we might be seeing some Generalist ships from?
Yeah, definitely think it's in 2026. There'll definitely be at least one more. I'm not going to say any more than that.
We're just going to reveal the entire 2026 schedule tonight. That's right. All right. You're saying there's going to be another Generalist ship?
There'll be another Generalist ship.
I'm trying to scratch my head thinking, what we signed up for? I can't remember.
It's been so many at this point.
Yeah. And I don't know if this is the next question, but why we've changed the categories and gone through them all.
Yeah, in 4.4, people probably logged in and saw that a lot of the categories were kind of fixed and updated on their ASOP.
I had a bug come across my desk for ground vehicles displaying as ground. And it annoyed me immensely. So I went into our tools to have a look at it and just discovered this web of broken stuff. And as you do, you start pulling at the thread and fixing one thing, and then you realize the inconsistencies. So we went through and aligned them all. We got rid of ground as a career, because whose career is ground. So all the combat vehicles that are ground vehicles are now combat with their sub-classification. And that just morphed into just re-looking at them all. Light.
I have two ironclads?
Yeah. We also
I don't remember having another ironclad.
Because we were done 5+ years ago when we didn't have the range of cargo ships we have in game.
Yep.
So we've sort of normalized that out to new numbers. I can't remember if we've published that, or it's our thing we're going to do, shipyard.
Yeah, no. We are. It's one of those things. You and I did the shipyard back in 2016, 2017, and we say every year that it's time to update it and whatever. Yeah. We are going to find time to do an updated shipyard in 2026. That's another thing that's coming in 2026. It's absolutely needed. I got to get these other teams I'm building fully up on board, and when I'm not, whatever, then I can go back to that stuff.
Might also knocked onto the web as well. Like the web store is an entirely different set of data,
Oh, yeah.
saying an entirely different set of things. So
I had to make a post. I had to make a post last week because we are part of the things. People are like, "What does Jared actually do when he's not filming like this?" Well,
you've not been filming, have you?
one of the things I'm in charge of is this massive store audit that we're doing. So we made a mistake. We've been trying to add. We've been slowly working out definitions for all the different roles and the types, and adding them to the website. And like, Rome's not built in a day, but I made an update to, and it was me. It was me who did it. I made an update to, I can't even remember what ship it was, and I removed part of a definition that I didn't mean to remove, and I had to oh, nope, that's not an actual change. That's me trying to do a good thing, messing up. So we put it on there. Jared, we want more video content because we like it. I like it too.
How we get that mythical?
Probably not back to what it was at the high day, but I am bound and determined to do more next year than we did this year. That's
Anvil.
I don't know how I'm going to do it.
Save this for like New Year's Eve.
This sort of is art. No. It's kind of our New Year's Eve.
I'll get in trouble.
Have you made any good progress on the Caterpillar and Ironclad command modules?
Yes.
Next question.
Oh, okay, fine.
No,
it's fine. That's fine. That's all you want from me, Jared.
Go ahead and say it.
So the actual Parasite stuff for being able to take control of the large ship and fly and control it. We've actually got the first playable coming up very soon. They've used a prototype of existing ships, but the Ironclad and the command module have been built with it in mind. There's slight tweaks needed for them to use it with that, but first playable's coming up soon, and we're currently on track to have it come out with it.
All right.
With the actual release of Ironclad.
Seems a little slow today.
To the room that you just took the command module, the Caterpillar stuck asymmetric wings on it and called it the Clipper.
No.
Now that you think about the shape, it's similar.
No, we turned it upside down and called it the Cutter.
Yeah, that was the cutter, yeah.
5 new ships released at this year's IE, yet all are missing a practical, quite useful element. Downward-facing landing lights. Why has this critical element been overlooked in ship design? Are you stupid?
Maybe.
I added that last one.
I mean,
Oh my gosh.
so I think it depends what context we're talking about, because if the practical purpose of them is the same,
Don't encourage these people.
Powerful headlights and
Don't encourage these kids.
to help them navigate in the dark, so it's easier to land and go about on dark planet surfaces. When we kept extending the range of the headlights, it didn't work well. It's really unperformant. And when you got a group of ships together and they're all pointing at each other, it was impossible to see anything, because it would just be like...
Okay, so what all ships do I have?
Everyone's got their high
Scouts
on.
super bright thing you can see from orbit.
Yeah, it was too much. But people need a way to be able to actually navigate in the dark. Like, absolutely, that's something that's needed. So...
Night vision landing camera.
So... we do have plans for a solution. It's a system called, we're calling it LAMP.
Lamp. Not Star Lamp?
I mean, I didn't pick the name, Jared. I didn't pick the name of it. But it's LAMP.
Lamp is back.
It's to...
I love Lamp.
Oh, I love that film. The entire purpose is light amplification. So it's to let people be able to fly and navigate at night. It's currently in early stages. We don't exactly know when it's going to be going out, but what it does is it puts light amplification on all of the canopy glasses, so you actually be able to see what you're doing in the dark.
Yeah. If people have used the FPS,
I do have 2 Ironclads.
It's a more expanded
I do.
version of that.
For your cockpit glass?
For your
Yeah.
Why do I have 2?
So that's the solution to have you navigate at night. Now,
Well, I
because it's
don't
cool,
need
it
2.
is cool ships.
Yeah, just blame me. It's fine.
I still want an underneath landing camera though. I still want, especially on, what's the one that took off and landed vertical?
Sulan.
Yeah, Sulan. That was good for that. Yeah. With the Clipper debuting an integrated crafting station, are we going to see them added to existing ships such as the Carrack or Aquila?
Carrack, yes, because it was one of the promised features of that ship was this repair room, which at the time sort of was pretty undefined, but now it's repair is sort of like crafting your own small items for things, and you can sort of repair adjacently to it. And we were talking about the Kilo. We can't remember that being a thing for it.
I don't remember that either. I think that.
If someone has some hard evidence for that being a thing, put it in chat or comments or the Spectrum thread. Tag me on Spectrum.
Send your comments, Carrack, John Crew.
Yeah.
We spent like a good hour today digging through every single bit of the old marketing material for every generation of it and couldn't find a thing about it on the Aquila.
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 Tomato.
Aquila.
Aquila.
Has got
It's Aquila.
just
It's Aquila, bro.
Spectrum. Well,
Stop that.
I do look on Spectrum, but it's
you just don't reply.
I don't reply because I get a lot of tags.
Okay, so here's another one. With another large ship added, Perseus, conspicuously lacking the option to reserve a name, even if it wouldn't be visible in game, can someone please give us an update on the intentions around ship naming? We've had absolutely no word in years to confirm or deny that the original reservation system is still aligned with the team's philosophy. If it is, then what's stopping you from adding ship naming simply on the web hanger side, so we can reserve the unique names we have in mind?
So from a vehicle content point of view, there's two things there. Since we introduced vehicle naming and serials with the Hercules and a slew of other ships, we've done the setup on all the ships to support having names since then. So anything in like the last 3-4 years
4 years.
Yeah, at least 4.
has the setup for it. We're not, at least from an art point of view, not particularly happy with how it works because it's basically a fixed size, maximum 32 carat long length string that goes on the exterior of the vehicle. If you name your ship B, it's the same size B as if you had 32 Bs in a line. So it doesn't look great. It doesn't react to the paints. We get to pick the font and the color in the current system. So if you pick, you've got a black hull ship with white font, looks great on the default. You go put a white paint on it, it doesn't react to that. We need to enhance that. So either the paints have an override for the serial numbers and colors, or the serials do some magic to detect that. And we also want to like highlight them with lighting. So like you see on the Enterprise, it has little lights that illuminate up the name and the serial number. And we need that to work with the dynamic scaling side of it as well. So from a content side of view, it works. We're not particularly happy with it. There's also a huge amount of work that goes on the platform side that they would need to answer. I know it's a hugely manual process because of the way so many people own so many ships, and because it's unique names, they do it in a wave system. So you need to go work out the owner.
So I need 85.
Ship,
40 more dollars.
divide it into waves, let each wave have time, and like I say, it's manual, and then it has to be approved because people on the internet put naughty words on the outside of their spaceship.
Yeah, it basically needs feature work.
Yeah.
Really.
Put naughty words on their
It's a
spaceship.
huge amount of manual work.
Oh,
Chris is
you don't want fun.
So, we set all the ships up. There's some
Y'all don't want fun.
polish and niceties that we would like to
Just say
make sure
you don't
it's-
want fun.
It's more on the feature side that's the issue.
We need it to be scalable as well. From like the time investment to set it up, it's a huge amount of it.
Just say you don't want fun, guys. Come on. Come on. Be honest.
Back away from this one because it looks like a hard
He's
one.
making his mind up.
Trying to work out which
He's settled
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Oh, it's one of them.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no, it's me. I'm in trouble.
I'm dreading this.
Oh.
Don't say a word. Gonna need some more info on the battlecruiser there, Chief.
Oh boy.
Say a word. Don't say a word. I'll say this so if somebody gets angry at me, they can just come to me. The battlecruiser, for those of you who don't know, is our last concept. It's from the original crowdfunded campaign. We didn't do any concept ships this year. It's our intention to never do another concept ship again, other than the battle cruiser. And when it comes,
I'm going to watch the chat for this.
being a giant military style thing, if only there was a giant military style event that would be appropriate to reveal such things. That's probably where you might expect to learn more about it. And definitely not here, where we've already spilled the beans on too much of the 2026 schedule.
Did you confirm the manufacturer then or not?
Well, we're not revealing them.
Wait, did you just confirm it for 2026?
I feel like we're not
Did
done
I?
2026.
Did I? No.
You didn't.
Citizen Joel's like, open development. Open development doesn't mean we just say everything that comes into our brain. That's never been what open development is. It's never what it's going to be.
Oh boy.
Open development. It's been very open. All right. Have you identified a stopping point where SC will have enough ships?
Oh boy.
Well, why does there have to be a limit?
Well, like, we haven't even, like, if you think of a matrix of all different sizes and manufacturers, we haven't even filled one of every size and role.
We just got our salvage starter.
Right? And
One of them.
We don't just want one in most of the slots because people want a choice, right? Some people don't like RSI, some people don't like Drake, some people don't like.
Those are all terrible
Origin.
people.
Granted, but we have options,
Gregory.
and we haven't even filled out the basic matrix yet.
And like our alien races, we've got a few more systems to make and a few more places to go. And I think there's a lot of opportunities there.
There's one alien race that is in the lore that we've never done anything with.
The Kurthak.
Yeah.
The Kurthak!
Shout out to Wingman. Just deep lore there.
Deep.
To my knowledge, he invented it. And okay.
The
So, At
Kurthak!
this point, as we work towards the
Yes,
end
sir.
here, these are going to be more general gameplay questions that are related around spaceships. I want to preface this by saying these are the vehicle content folks. These are the people that make the spaceships. The folks who make gameplay that spaceships utilize are not always the same thing. For instance, salvage and mining. These folks have nothing to do with salvage and mining. Those are whole gameplay system design teams and stuff like this. And we will have more shows. It's Torsten and stuff like that. So we're not able to answer every single question that comes in about this stuff, but we've tried to work out a few that we could research and ping some people for some answers. Can you separate docking and hangar requests for ships with a docking port like the Perseus? Please, dear God, yes. As docking is quite buggy and very unreliable, it makes it very hard to get into places like Orison, Alevsky, and stations. Is there anything more we can say other than I think every single one of us here is annoyed by this?
It'd be cool.
Yeah. We should probably talk with the people doing the command module work because they might be able to squeeze that in with their work. And actually, fun backstory that goes to the Apollo. So a lot of people, well, I think probably 50-50 realise the back ramp and opening of the Apollo is very small. That's because it's a docking collar. It's both a small one and a big one, but it doesn't function in game because of that bug. And I told the team not to set it up as a docking collar because that would have meant that the Apollo would have had this. So every time you come to try and land somewhere, instead of a medium hangar,
It was always trying
to do that docking.
Yeah.
So that's why the Apollo has this small entrance, is because it has a built-in docking collar to dock to other ships' stations in the future when we have the ability to split that up properly.
Yeah.
Not because I wanted to stop
Yeah,
vehicles being crammed in the back of it, which was also another reason. But
yes, Cobalt 016, butt docking. Well, that's what it's officially referred to as. Correct. But no, I would say, I think I can safely say there's not a human being here that isn't annoyed to heck by it. It's on the feature request list.
especially everyone going to Levski.
Yeah. So maybe that's one of those things. It's just a priority call like everything else. Let's just be real. But there's not a single human being here that doesn't want it. Let's see. There's a question about AI blades. It's not really for this team to discuss, but yes, still wanted, still intended. You might have seen some struggle with the MDC recently, and I mean that's essentially what is a PDT, but an AI blade controlled turret and whatnot. And you're seeing right now live and in real time some of the limitations with the current implementation of that. I know that we were you were bugging things up and you were chasing this stuff down. I'm watching. One of the pleasures of my job is I get to watch John pop up in like half dozen different chats like, this needs to get fixed and this needs to get fixed and this needs to get fixed and whatnot. So it's still intended. It's still the thing. It's ships like the Clipper and the Generalist. Solo players it is our intention never to leave solo players behind. Yes, it is a massively multiplayer online universe. Yes, you'll be able to always do more with friends and with colleagues and allies and stuff like this. But there should be a place for people who don't want to do any of that. We're very passionate about that. That is still at the core of our intention for this game. And things like AI blades, things like, we used to talk a lot about NPC crews, stuff like that. All that stuff was designed for that. It's just all things in their time.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people obviously on Spectrum and Reddit talking about, oh, well, they've got the flight blades and the eye blades. Surely it's easy just to get the rest of it in. That the way we've had to implement them, it isn't how blades are going to have to work. We've had to use our current systems in interesting ways to get them to function the way that they are, and it's just not how blades are going to be.
No. How much does 7-Up pay me? Oh.
Quick, 10 the Dr. Pepper.
This is all the sugar I'm allowed for like an entire year.
Do we get commission? Oh.
Still stay with it.
Oh, you can't see.
No, they can't see it.
Can't see mine. It's fine.
It's shop.
You got Dr. Pepper.
There it is.
Camera's it. No camera. There you go. Where is that camera?
Will ships like the Perseus and other multi-crew ships for that matter ever get missions with scalable payouts rewards that actually encourage multi-crew? I don't see the point of any multi-crew ships like the Perseus when nothing in this game rewards group play, as rewards and credits are always split. Again, this is not one for the vehicle content team, but if you follow along with the monthly report, it's like this. You'll see occasional mentions of Mission 2.0. This is, I mean, I'm going to sound a little like a broken record here. It's another refactoring of the entire mission system in order to do the things that we all wanted to do. For years, missions weren't able to give you rewards. You couldn't ever complete a reward and get anything other than credits for that and stuff. It's just one of the challenges of we run a live environment during the development of our game. Most games get to do all this secretly. You would never get a mission system that doesn't have, things like we can give you an item for a reward and stuff like this. The mission system that they're currently working on and whatnot is the thing that we've been specking out for years. It's the thing that will unlock incredibly dedicated developers like Elliot Maltby and Yorit and all those when you only list two names, you start to sound like a real jerk because you don't list everybody else. Max, and I'm blanking on other names. They're going to think, thanks for not mentioning me. But all those members of the mission team, they are chomping at the bit. They want this new system too, so that they can do exactly the kinds of things that you're talking about. It's just another way the Star Citizen will continue to evolve. And after a year that's been relatively dry with features, and we knew it would be. We came out here, I sat out here for 2-3 hours with Benoit at the beginning of the year saying that the 2026 schedule should be. We've done a lot of talking about 2026. And I want to say this as honestly and as candidly as I can. I'm using the word should be because the other maxim that I run into the ground is the only constant in game development is change. It should be a marked change from 2025 as far as feature work goes. It won't be the relentless pace of 2024 or 2023 as far as broken, half-finished things. But we took this year to get those proverbial ducks in a row to develop these things further along. So it is, you'll see with engineering on the horizon, and then crafting tech preview after that, and then hopefully all on its way to base building and a whole host of things like scanning and radar improvements and stuff in between. 2020, it is everybody's hope that 2026 is going to have a lot more stuff like that, including mission system work, which is how I got on this. For Disco directly, are we going to see more normal SCL and ISC schedule next year? I was going to say there are no normal SCLs or ISCs.
Funny.
Yes. Again, I think I said it earlier. Not back to 2024 schedule, not back to 2015 schedule where I was doing 5 shows a week. But I want to find more ways to get back to this more often. The reason for the change this year was elucidated back in February with that show with Benoit, but it was also big changes in my role here internally and my responsibilities and stuff like this. So we're at the point now where I can go back and we can go back and with feature work coming online, we should be able to tell more stories. It's hard because quite frankly, when you're doing content, you don't want to spoil the content. You don't want to, if we had done it, if we had kept doing an ISC every single week, every single aspect of dark territory and a line of mine, all this, there would have been no discovery for anybody whatsoever. And we just really try to avoid that. We're a game company. It's important. A lot of people are working to make this tremendous content. They would like for you to experience it in game. And I agree with that. So we scaled the shows back. But with more feature work coming online next year, we should be able to spike the shows up a bit. And we're still kicking around ideas of different kinds of shows we can do. That's still...
Puppet show.
A what?
Puppet show.
No,
Oh my God, yes.
When are we getting the Polaris and other newly released capital ships into PU shops? That goes back to the answer I gave earlier today. Not every ship is going to UEC shops. It's just not. These ships will be attainable in-game. These ships will be earnable in-game. That's not the same as every ship goes into a store. This is one of those things that he'll forgive me if I speak on his behalf, but I've literally heard him say these words. It's like the idea that you go into a Hertz rent-a-car and rent a Nimitz-class aircraft carrier, like it just makes the brain itch. It's like there should be other ways. That's where crafting comes in. That's where, to an extent, at the moment, Wicklow comes in, so like this, and then other ways, reputation gains and stuff like that. There'll be many more ways for you to attain these ships other than just UEC. It's just, frankly, boring and not particularly interesting, which are, I guess, are the same thing, and just not diegetic the universe that we're building to put every single thing into a UEC shop. The idea that you go to New Deal and pick up an Idris is kind of silly. So finding other ways, but they will all be attainable in game, one way or another, or in multiple ways. Can we please get a general quarters alarm on multi-crew ships? Gosh, we were talking on that show that I had Simon and Phil on earlier. They committed to doing that on that ship. And if I'm misremembering that, and they didn't, I'm going to say they did right now. But yes, again, it's one of those things. There's not a human being here
Who doesn't want that red alert moment?
You need it. You need that red alert moment. All hands, the battle station, stuff like this. We just want it. Will ballistic weapons have different types of ammunition? For example, high velocity, explosive, incendiary.
That's still the plan as far as I'm aware. Again, that's not really a vehicle thing. That's just like that's a game-wide ammo types question for the game and system designers.
I've heard talks of explosive rounds quite a few times. Are you ever going to make turrets actually decent?
Yes.
Or should we just all bring light fighters? Yeah, there's that's the work of
You're being rich.
a Rich's team or whatever. They've done several passes at making improvements of them over the years. They have gotten better, but I don't think anybody's going to sit here and tell you they're where everybody wants it to be. So
I do quite like the idea of little fighters as turrets that you can eject off. And
You keep bringing that up.
I know.
We're
What?
doing it
Mark
with-
is shutting me down.
what?
He wants ships as turrets that detach and fly off.
I'll fly around, shoot things, and come back.
Like detachable
Ships.
turret pods
Yeah.
that just fly around.
In the back, you fly around, blow some stuff up, come back.
This isn't Gundam.
Marky's shut me down. He's the reason of good. In the team.
I'll accept that reason. I will, if people don't like that one, I will bear that cross.
We'll be able to do it, right? Command module and iPad stuff.
Whether just because we can doesn't mean we should.
Open development.
Oh, chat's going real fast. Hold on.
See, they love it.
That's not what I'm seeing here.
Oh, okay.
Team Mark, if you agree with
Yep.
not doing it and it's
Yep.
a bad idea. Team Ben, if you think it's a good idea.
The LGBT Alaban
They
says,
love it.
fix the things in game first. I could be really snide here, but this is a comment that comes up very often, so I'm going to address it. There are nearly 1,000 people who work for CIG between Star Citizen and Squadron 42, and the people who worked on the 30K errors and whatnot are not the same people that build the Argo Mole and stuff like this. It's not a question of fix this first before you do that. It is with hundreds and hundreds of people on dozens and dozens of teams, all with different focuses, all with different aptitudes, stuff like this. It's possible to do these things over here, not at the expense of these things over here. And in fact, allowing these people to do these things are how these people get to focus and how these people get to bury their head in their work and just hit on it. There has been a freight elevator strike team going since just before, was it Race for Stanton? Was that one? And they have not stopped. There's been a little strike team, and I'm privileged to be in that chat, and I get to see them every single day. They have not stopped one day since Race for Stanton dropped, working and fixing freight elevator stuff and all the various edge cases and hardening that system. And they get to do that because we have other teams, content teams, working to put other things in the game to keep engagement going, to keep the game alive and thriving while they keep their heads down and focus on that. So it is not ever a question of fix this before you do that. We're doing both. We're doing both with 2 different teams, 3 different teams, 5 different teams, 10 different teams, and things will be done in their time, which is not always the super delightful answer. I mean, kind of sucks to be told it's not tomorrow. Not as bad as John's nerf to the whole D and holy cargo. That's just trash. But but no.
Be nice to John. Come
I want to take
on.
that opportunity just to smash it because I see that, and it's a totally normal thing to think that you can't do this. You should do this before you do this, but that's just not the way game development works. All right, we're wrapping up here. I'm going to do one last question. That's really a series of questions. Let's see how much I can get away with. We've said a lot about this next year's ships. So we've talked about the Aurora Gold Standard, and we revealed that an Aurora Mark II is going to come. What else did we confirm?
That's a dangerous.
Not fall into that trap. Yeah.
I'm getting confused.
Raylan,
Raylan is coming. Raylan is coming next year.
Parasites module.
command module, which implies
Okay,
ironclads.
well, no, because you said the command module will come alongside the ironclad.
Yeah.
And so if you just said the command module is going to come next year,
No, we didn't say it was coming next year. We just said what we confirmed.
but John just said. You
John
didn't-
is disappointed now.
Planets are coming to the game.
This is what happens when we don't do a show in a while. I forget how these things work. Let's go ahead. Let's not reveal the entire ship list of 2026 because people like
No one's interested in that.
People like to
I enjoy
people like
watching
to
the
talk
videos.
and people like to. But let's give. I hit the content. I hit some of the content creators at the beginning of the show. The people who do the
What are they working on?
what is it called when they do the watch?
Oh,
when they
watch
do the-
parties. Like,
No, not watch party. It's not a party.
Co-streaming.
No, when they sit there and they
Highlights?
react videos. That's what it's called. That's what it's called. Let's give people. Let's give them something to react to that they can feed the beast because they do wonderful service for our project and get the game out and stuff like this. Let's reveal the manufacturers of every ship in 2026 because we know what the schedule
I
is.
hope someone's got the list.
Let's reveal the
Releasing or working on?
releasing.
Two different.
Just the manufacturers of the releasing ships in 2026.
Drake.
Yep.
Aegis.
RSI.
Aegis. Yep. Did you say RSI?
Yep.
RSI.
Anvil.
Yes.
Misk.
Yes. A Misk ship.
Oh,
Next year.
Kruger.
Kruger is
Yep.
getting another ship.
What else we got?
Grays.
Grays is getting another ship.
Origin.
Origin is back. Origin is back with another ship next year.
Gatak.
Gatak has another ship next year.
I think. Oh. Your favorite color?
Oh, Argo.
No, he means Grey Cat and Grey Cat.
And Grey Cat.
Grey Cat's getting a vehicle next year. So those are the. I'm pretty confident those are the.
I'm trying to rack my brain. These questions hurt me.
Yeah. So those are the manufacturers who are releasing new ships in 2026, and immediately people are like, oh, Consolidated Outland, forgot again. Crusader, boo.
Oh, there's no
We're not
Crusader.
doing
Why do you hate
Crusader, I don't
Crusader,
think.
Ben?
I love Crusader.
Yeah, those are just the ones we're releasing on.
Those are just not the ones that are being worked on.
There are other manufacturers being worked on.
Yep.
Imply from that what you wish.
Reveal the new. Let's just push our luck. Reveal that there's going to be another Kruger ship. This is not another Wolf variant. You want to? Let's give him the name. Let's give him the name. And let him speculate.
I'm suddenly panicking that this is it's this Stingray.
Oh no!
Yeah. Okay, good. Sorry, I was just making sure it wasn't a working title because we have some quite interesting working titles.
Yeah, we do.
Nope. So the Stingray will be the name of the next Kruger ship some point next year, and people can guess. People can speculate about what that is, and then let's end on a high note. This is IAE. We're about to go into the finale. The finale where I think all the ships come back and whatnot. The big ship for IAE this year was the Perseus. I mean, it was always like a big ship. The big ship for Fleet Week this year was the Idris. What was the big ship for IAE last year?
Polaris.
Polaris. Oh, the big ship for IAE last year is the Polaris. Go ahead. Let's let John do this.
I was going to say, I'm backing out of this
Let's go to
conversation
John's
right now.
camera.
We can't
Let's
get told off.
go
if John
ahead
does
and
it.
tell people what the big ship for IAE is next year.
The big ship planned for next IE is the RSI Galaxy. There you go.
There you go.
Just like we said, we were going to do the RSI ships in a series. Still sticking to that.
So.
And there is, from some of those manufacturers, there is multiple ships coming, not just.
Oh yeah. That's not. We listed like.
I saw some people asking about certain ships.
No, we listed like 11 manufacturers. That's not only 11 ships. We did 27 ships this year.
Yeah.
I don't know how many ships. I can't remember off the top of my head how many ships next year, but it's close, if not
About the same.
Yeah.
about the same. So some of those manufacturers have multiple.
Some big, some small.
Yep. But all right. So yeah. that's been
2026.
Star Citizen Live. Lots of ship talk. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had some laughs. We had some good news. We had some bad news, but all throughout it, we had some real news. And as always, I'm eternally appreciative to John and Ben and Mark, who are willing to come on here and speak candidly about this stuff. Sometimes a little too candidly about the 2026 schedule, but it's all right.
Open development.
Don't choke, Jared.
He will. Jared's gonna choke. Come on, stop that.
Anyway, thanks for watching. Remember that Twitch drops are going on right now. Star Citizen's first Twitch drops are on Twitch. I don't know if we had them set up for our stream or not. Other people handle that stuff. But if they didn't watch, if you didn't earn them watching our stream, there's dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of Star Citizen streamers out there. You can watch them and earn a pretty cool set of light armor that matches with a set of medium armor and some heavy armor. And honestly, it matches with like the concierge armor we did and whatnot. So you collect them all and you can mix and match certain parts and whatnot. Personally, I like the helmet from the concierge armor on the heavy version of this armor. I really like the heavy version of the armor. I don't like the helmet. It's just not for me. But I like to mix and match personally. So Twitch drops going on. If you didn't get them watching this show, you can watch any one of our tremendous Star Citizen content creators on Twitch right now and earn those. So do that. Next week, part of my red vine fell off. Our red vine's heads are falling off. What was I saying? Next week, IC comes back with a special dedicated to engineering. We're calling it Talk with Torsten. Because, as evidenced by the name of this episode, I have given up.
George Jared.
We're closing out our 13th year, leading into our 14th year. I think those numbers are correct. And yeah, I won't see you live again before the end of this year. But when I see you live again, it'll be a brand new year, and we'll be off and seeing what 2026 has to reveal about Star Citizen and its continuing development. So I'm Jared. That was John. That was Ben. That was Mark. These are Red Vine's Crazy Delicious Thanksgiving treat. See you later. Take care. Remember to spay and neuter your pets. It's Bob Barker from Price is Right. No. You old heads. You know what I'm talking about. Bye, everybody.
And yeah, that was interesting, chat. Very interesting. Okay. So, yeah, I believe that was it. So, there was a lot of reveals. I kind of knew the whole B, D, and E would get smaller. Long time ago. Sad but true. I knew that would happen. Yeah. Here in a bit, I'm going to have to go get something to eat because Oh. All right, I am going to raid somebody here in a minute. I don't know who's on that can take raids. Raid Vertigo. Good friend. It's taking his note. Funny. Anyways, chat, I'm going to wish you a good day. Catch y'all later.